What's up, everybody? You're watching JoeBox TV, giving you my official prediction for the Terence Crawford Jose Benavidez Jr. fight, live on ESPN from Omaha, Nebraska. Very intriguing storyline here, a lot of bad blood. Benavidez has been calling out Terence Crawford for months now, and now he's gonna finally get the opportunity to play spoiler and earn his first world title if he can pull it off. But the challenge he faces is no ordinary challenge. Terence Crawford won the WBO title at lightweight, became the undisputed champion at junior welterweight, and most recently stopped Jeff Horn in the 9th round to win the WBO welterweight title. So he's conquered two divisions, lightweight and junior welterweight, and now he's looking to conquer maybe the best division in boxing, being welterweight, with so many elite fighters like Errol Spence Jr., Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and even Manny Pacquiao. Crawford's pretty much cemented his status as one of the three best fighters in the world. I have him number 2. I could even see a case making him number 1 pound for pound. I personally think that's Lomachenko, but I do think Crawford is the second best fighter in the world. Let me give you a little bit of a background. Jose Benavidez Jr. was one of the best young prospects in boxing up till about 2015, 2016. He had one fight against Mauricio Herrera that I thought he may have actually lost. It was a pretty close fight, but Benavidez wound up getting a controversial decision. Other than that, he pretty much ran through the competition with ease. Then, one of the most troubling moments of his life came in August 2016 when he was shot near his hometown of Phoenix. Shot in the leg, had to take a long time off. He was told he wouldn't walk in 2 years. But then, February 2018, he came back into the sport after all that. And he had one comeback victory and then 2 more fights since then. Even though it was against very mediocre competition, to me he looks even better now, quite ironically, even before the major injury that he had. Bottom line, this is a guy who's overcome a lot of adversity. Now let's talk a little bit about his skill set. He's a 6'2" welterweight, so he's got size and he knows how to control range. He's got a pretty good jab and a good combination of speed and power. Good physical attributes. And I don't recall Terence Crawford facing anyone of this size. I don't think he's ever faced anyone 6'2" or taller before. So that could pose a serious challenge for Crawford. This, to me, is the key attribute that makes Terence Crawford one of the best fighters in the world. And it's all a mental perspective. This guy has, I gotta say, a little bit of Andre Ward in him. And that, what I mean by that is he's able to adjust to any style, take away whatever his opponent's best strength is. And he can box from the outside, use that piston-like jab, or he can take it at close quarters and make it a dogfight. Another thing is, Terence Crawford's probably the best switch hitter in boxing. Usually when he's fighting out of the orthodox stance, he's boxing from the outside and using that long jab, using that tremendous ring IQ to systematically pick his opponents apart and box from the outside, control range. When he's fighting southpaw is usually when he begins to really assert himself and grind his opponent down, like we saw against guys like Gamboa, or in his last fight, Jeff Horn, or guys like John Molina and Felix Diaz, which he stopped as well. Now, living in Arizona, I am a Benavidez fan. Benavidez also follows me on Instagram, so shout out to him. I'm going to be pulling for him. I hope he comes through and brings the world title home to Arizona. I really do. But I gotta be objective about this. I don't think he's on the level of Terence Crawford. I think Benavidez goes the distance. I see his length, his height and reach giving Crawford some problems in the early rounds. Like in the Gamboa fight for a few rounds, Gamboa's speed gave Crawford trouble. Here I think for a few rounds Benavidez is going to be able to control range well, and I think he'll give Crawford the fits for a few rounds. But like I said, he's so good at adjusting, and I think Crawford probably starts to outwork him come round 4 or 5, because one thing about Benavidez, he does take a lot of breaks in between the action. Another thing you gotta consider is Benavidez hasn't faced anyone near the caliber of Terence Crawford. He just hasn't. His toughest opponent was probably Mauricio Herrera back in 2014, I believe, and a lot of people thought he lost that fight. So my gut tells me this might be a little bit too soon of a step up for him. If he can come through with this fight, and like even if he loses, if he makes it competitive and he doesn't get blown out or dominated or wiped out in the early rounds or anything, I still think he comes back and becomes an elite contender, maybe even a world champion one day. But I don't think he beats Terence Crawford on this night, right in the middle of Terence Crawford's prime. I just don't see it happening. But Benavidez has been talking to last Mac for months and months, and just recently the animosity began heating up again. Earlier this week, Crawford confronted Benavidez at his gym, I believe, or I think it was a public workout, and Crawford ran up on him and saying basically, I hope you're ready because you've been talking last smack, you better be ready to back it up, is basically what Crawford was saying. And then, yesterday at the weigh-in, Benavidez pushes Crawford. I think he kind of crossed the line there, but he pushed Terence Crawford, which prompted Crawford to swing at him. He flung a right hook at it. He didn't connect. Though Benavidez was quick on his feet there. He pulled back just in time to avoid the shot. So, and I believe Benavidez put out on Instagram, you gotta be quicker than that. And is it possible that Benavidez has gotten inside Crawford's head? I think it's possible. Or that's just gonna bring out the beast in Terence Crawford. So I do think the bad blood is gonna carry over into the ring. I think it's gonna be very interesting and a competitive fight. But in the second half, I think that's where we're going to see Crawford bring the fight on the inside and take away Benavidez's advantages in size. I think Crawford wins 8-4, maybe 9-3, but a clear unanimous decision victory. I think Benavidez makes a very good account of himself, but like I said, I don't think he beats Crawford on this night. Looking forward to a good night of fights. We don't have a whole lot of time left before they start. Comes on at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time on ESPN. And you guys let me know in the comments down below, who do you think's gonna win? What's your prediction? Until next time, Joe Box TV, out!